Hey YouTube friends, hope you're doing well. This is Bev Potter. It's April the 11th, 2018. I had a dream a couple of nights ago that I would like to share, but before I do, I felt that I would like to share a couple of experiences I had which illustrate how the enemy has worked in my life at certain times and things that I've learned from that. So I am going to tell you a story from when, about 30 years ago, when my firstborn was just a few months old. So a lady came to our church and was ministering and sharing the message. She had been delivered from a spirit of religion, and she had been an absolutely miserable Christian for many, many years. And then she came into an understanding of the truth of how Jesus has set us free. And so she was ministering this message in our church. And for some reason, it just really hit home with me. And yeah, I was into it like full bore. So I was having some very interesting experiences with the Lord, and it was great in a lot of ways. But then the enemy came in because in church, no church that I've ever been to have I ever had any teaching on how the enemy works and what to look for. So I had to learn myself. So I had some interesting experiences. All right, so what was happening was I was just moving in the Spirit and pressing into God. And one night, there was a man at our church who had gotten cancer. And he wasn't doing very well. He was very special, dear to my heart. And he was an older fellow, but a real beautiful Christian man, and very kind and gracious. And I really liked him. So anyway, he got sick, and I was praying for him. Then one night while I was in this stage, I woke up in the middle of the night with a very strong desire to drive to his house. And I actually did not know the directions to get there. But I prayed about it, and I felt that I was to go. And so I got in my car and drove, and the Lord led me right to his place. And I parked on the street in front. And he used to woodwork, and he had a workshop in his garage. And I could see that the light was on in his garage. So I just sat there and I began to pray. And that was all fine and dandy. But then a thought comes into my head saying, I want you to walk through the backyard and back up the road 3 times. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. That would be weird. I do not want to do that. So then the same voice said, if you don't, he's going to die. Wow, now there's a guilt trip, isn't it? I had no idea that I could be hearing the enemy. So I felt so forced, to do it because I was afraid. I didn't want him to die. I was praying for his healing. So I got out and I forced myself, and I'm praying the whole time, Lord, cover me, hide me. I don't want to do this, but I feel like I have to, so please, don't let me get arrested for lurking around their property at this late hour of the night kind of thing. So I was praying, and I know that God did cover me because he understood I was ignorant. So I walked through the backyard and around, and I did it 3 times like I heard I was supposed to. Then I got back in the car and drove home. Now this happened a few times, maybe 2 or 3 times. And I finally got used to it, and I really felt like God was watching over me, so it was going to be okay one way or another. So this man ended up getting sicker and sicker. And so then he was in the hospital and he was dying. And I really wanted to go and see him. I really wanted to pray for him. If I could, one more time, you know. So I went to the hospital, and the family knew me, and they knew, you know, that he was dear to my heart. So they gave me some time with him alone in the room. He was not alert. He was sleeping or something. But so I went in the room, and I just prayed quietly, and I didn't feel to say anything. And so that was fine. And then I went back out, and this voice again says, "Tell the family you believe he was healed." Well, I didn't believe he was healed, and I did not want to tell them that. But again, the voice said, you know, if you don't, he's going to die. So I mustered up all my courage, and I kind of looked up to the ceiling, blurted it out, and ran out to my car. And I got in my car, and I started to cry. Because I did not believe that he had been healed. And I felt like I made a fool out of myself, and it was humiliating. But if there was any chance that he could survive, I would do it. So I was in my car crying and crying. And then the family came out, and one of them knocked on my window. I didn't realize that they would be leaving that soon. So I was embarrassed. I opened up my window. They said, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm okay. And, you know, I said a few words and said, okay, I needed to go, and said goodbye and went home. Well, the next morning, my pastor came to my door and knocked on the door. Bless his heart. And he said, I just want to let you know that this man passed away last night. He's gone home to be with the Lord. And I said, thank you for letting me know. And then I went back into my house, and my whole world came crashing down on me. I felt like a total failure, that somehow I had done something wrong. And for the first time in my life, I actually felt that I could not go on. I was under so much oppression, so much guilt, so much accusation. I didn't know where it came from. But I felt that I could not live like that. I could not keep breathing if I had to live like that. And it's the first time I ever thought that I might have to kill myself. And it's the only time, actually, honestly, so praise God. So what was going through my mind